Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my most hated aspect of World of Tanks Blitz. There's a lot of things that I might not enjoy about this game, but the biggest one is the balancing behind it. I cannot tell you how frustrated I get when I will load into a battle with my friend and we'll be driving chill tanks. I don't like driving overpowered vehicles. I think that they are unenjoyable to fight against. I think that they are unenjoyable to play. What skill is involved in driving a Concept 1B? You get hull down, you have a double shot 760 alpha clip, and nothing can pen you in return. You have a top speed of 45, you have crazy troll side armor, and you even feature a reserve track mechanic, so even if you get locked down, you can still reverse into cover. There is genuinely no downside to a concept. I mean, sure, you can argue, oh, but it doesn't have good penetration. But it doesn't really matter when nothing can pen you in return. You could have literally no premium ammo on this tank, and it still wouldn't take away the overpowered aspect of not being penned hull down. And that is the problem with a lot of these cringe hull down vehicles. There needs to be weak spots or downsides to a tank that has virtually no downside when it's hull down. That's really as simple as it is. How are you supposed to counter a Rhino, a Kron, a VZ55, or Concept on a ridgeline when they have better guns than you, more DPM, and autoloaders which can get away with trading you even if you are a hard-hitting single shot? It is a problem that's existed for a while now, and for some reason Wargaming refuses to do anything about it. It is one of the most frustrating aspects of Blitz for me. I mean, for example, this E100 I can cut right through. He cannot do anything to me. We just took 663 health off that player. I don't even need to worry about getting penned. I know for a fact it's impossible for the E100 to cut through me. Now, obviously, he's put himself in a rather mediocre position, but it really doesn't take away the fact that he can't do anything to me. Now, my gun decided not to work there, but we still get the bleed into that player. The only reason we even got bled to begin with was because there's a Sheridan who's camping in the back corner who shot me. I don't really care anyway. I'll just chill here. If our Progetto is able to catch that Sheridan, that would be amazing. I'll just sit here and wait, and there you go. Sheridan gets spotted, and we shoot them once for 426, and we aim it again, and we shoot them for another 373. Oh no, we get shot. I don't really care. That's the funny part. Even though I've bled a bit of my health, now that the Sheridan's gone, I don't have to worry about anything. I can sit here completely comfortable knowing that this 268 physically cannot counter me. I can sit here, they're not going to pen me, or they will, or they're going to... they're going to... Okay. I cannot wait to show you guys where they pen me after this game is over. I cannot wait to show you the level of luck that player has. It's like Wargaming's trying to be like, see, Droodles, look, you're getting penned all down. See, the armor's not working. No. I don't care what people say in chat. Doesn't matter. The armor on this tank is insane, and it's basically uncounterable when using hull down. The fact that that 268 hit that shot is pure luck, and I'll show you guys that after this game ends, but it still doesn't matter. Took the 268 out of the game. We're up to 3,200 damage now, and we are still getting away with whatever we want. That's the funny part. Like, even though we've been bled a bit, and I've, been punished for making pokes, it still really hasn't hurt my game at all. There's one shell into the side of the Minnow, and the Progetto is now trying to rush us. I don't really care, though. Just going to back up. Prog bounced me twice, and there you go. He just got hit by the BZT for 1,300 damage. Again, it's the fact that this thing is just basically impenetrable hull down. What is this Progetto supposed to do? Well, we get a nice 412. They're taken out of the game, and we're over 4,000 damage. This tank is ridiculous. That's really all I can say. It's absolutely ridiculous. And as I mentioned, even though we got bled, even though I purposely played sloppy, we still got away with it. And that's the thing about this tank, is you get away with whatever you want. There's no downside to driving this tank. Why would you drive anything else when you can drive this thing on a ridge? Also, just to show you really quickly where that 268 did pen me, because I want to show you how stupid of a shot that was. Basically, there is a little window on the front upper plate right here, and we were hauled down, and the 268 hit that window right there. You can go back and look, and you'll see they hit me there. So basically, they got really, really lucky. There was nothing else involved in that shot apart from luck. But this is what a concept looks like haul down. This is what it looks like aiming in on a concept haul down. Let's pull out, the highest penetration vehicle in the game. Let's go to Tank Destroyers, a YAG. This is what it looks like when a YAG loads gold. 407 mils of heat. You cannot pen it anywhere. Okay, how about a tank that has APCR premium? This is 403 APCR premium. You physically cannot pen the concept hull down. It is not possible. And this is the problem. There is no downside to this tank. There is no countering this tank. When it is properly used on a ridgeline, it is a completely unenjoyable tank to fight. And we still blocked 2300 damage that game, even though we got penned in some goofy spots and I purposefully over-aggressed. Alright, let's move on. We got the VZ55. Now this tank does have a hatch, but to make up for the hatch, it has a top speed upwards of 44 kilometers per hour because we're running gear oil. It can reverse at 17. It has 2,600 DPM with a double shot 460 alpha, featuring a crazy 350 mils of pen and even combat stabilization. Once again, there's almost no real counter to this vehicle. Pretend you're in a 114 SP2, an E100, a mouse, and a hull-down VZ55 pokes you, butters through your armor with its 350 APCR, out-reloads you because it has more DPM, and just backs up into cover. That's really the problem with these vehicles, and it's the problem with the balance in general. Wargaming, if you are watching today's video, and for the people that are watching today's video, what we need to do is we need to speak up and we need to point out to Wargaming that they need to nerf these tanks. And I don't mean nerf them as in ruin them. People think, oh, but it's my favorite tank, Droodles. I don't want it to get nerfed. You don't have to ruin the tank to balance it. For example, you can keep everything about this tank the same. It can keep its gear oil. It can keep the DPM. It can keep a 460 alpha clip. But if you want it to have that level of clipping potential, why not make the intro clip longer? Instead of having a 3-second intro clip, give it a 5-second intro clip. This now makes it able to be countered because you can back into cover instead of immediately losing 920 of your hit points. If that's not good enough for you, if you still want it to have a 3-second intro clip, okay, that's fine. Then nerf the... Okay, that was just a bad poke for me, but if you don't want it to have the intro clip, or, you know, you want it to keep the 3-second intro clip, then nerf the DPM. Give it 2,200 DPM instead of 2,600, and instead make it so that the vehicle doesn't feature, you know, crazy DPM, and then it can keep the intro clip. Problem is, when you give this tank DPM, armor, mobility, it just doesn't have a downside. How do you counter a tank that can do this right here? That's 459, that's 495, that's almost 1,000 hit points we just took off that Rhino. We back into cover. That's it, we've already dealt 1,700. Even that VK72, tier 10 German super heavy, we out-traded. He took 600 off me, and we bled him for over, what, 800 damage? Getting bounces on the side by the Batchat. We have the 777, and here's the funny thing. I don't even care if this 777 shoots me. I can literally poke them, and hit them once in the little corner cutout, and then we just aim it on their lower plate, and I get another 458 damage, and there you go. We're up to 2,700 now. That's it. Zero skill involved, zero effort involved. It is just an incredibly stupid experience all round. So let's see. I'm going to move over this way, and we're going to reload again. We got 3 seconds left. As I mentioned, it's not even like you suffer in the DPM department with this thing. You have good DPM. There's 1, there's 2. That's 700 hit points we've taken off of that player, and we are up to 3,400 damage. We've assisted 2,500. Just ridiculous. Our Yo actually gets a clear on that player, which is pretty nice. We have to wait 5 more seconds for our shot. And the Atlas is not going to take them out. We are going to have to take them out. There you go. Concept gets cleared. Let's see, is the 4202 going to poke? Not really sure. I'm just going to reload my clip at this point. Atlas is alive, so that's good. And the Yo kills the 4202. That player made an overaggression and killed themselves for it. We have the enemy Bashation over here, and we're going to see if we can get behind this Batchat really quickly. Let's see, and boom. Okay, never mind. We're going to bounce the fully exposed Batchat, because that's my life. But that's fine. We're going to load a high explosive, and okay, my shell went high. Somehow managed to miss the entire exposed lower plate. Well, while this tank may be OP, my RNG is not. And even then, we are still up to 4,000 damage. We have assisted 3,000 damage. And if we reload for just a second longer, we can take the Caro, or our teammate can take the Caro out of the game. If I was in a single shot, would I have been able to deal this much damage? Would I have been able to assist this much and get away with the plays that I was making? Probably not. But how do you counter a tank that does 900 damage when you only deal 400 or even 600 in the case of the VK72? There you go. Pretty easy game. No effort required. All right, let's take a look at what's next. Ooh, we got a juicer next, guys, the Kron. One of the dumbest tanks in the entire game, a vehicle which is virtually uncounterable when it's using its gun depression. The Kron features 2,600 health. For some reason, 2,660 health. That is more hit points than most tier 10 heavies. Not only that, but it has 2,700 effective damage per minute on the first shell. You pair that with a 1,230 damage clip, 9 degrees of gun depression, super speed boost, reticle calibration. Where's the downside? Once again, where is the counter to this vehicle? Pretend that you are in an average tier 10 heavy, an IS-4, and you get put on dead rail. What are you supposed to do in an IS-4 against a Kron on dead rail? Okay, don't want to do dead rail? Port Bay. Kron gets hauled down on the mid flank. What do? How about Normandy? What do you do? And that's really the question you have to ask yourself over and over and over. What are you supposed to do against this vehicle haul down on a ridgeline in any other tier 10 heavy? Type 5 heavy. It's a great tank, right? It's got an 800 alpha gun. It's incredibly dangerous, but what's it going to do to my vehicle haul down? Virtually nothing. It defeats the purpose of driving any tank that actually requires skill when you can just drive this. And that's not even mentioning the fact that you can platoon these. I can't tell you how many games I play with my friend in platoon where we will go up against Kron and Rhinos or double Krons themselves. It's such an unenjoyable experience. It's not even funny. It's just, what do you do to counter it? It's 2,400 clipping potential in 5.4 seconds. There's no countering that. There's no anything. You just get killed. It is legitimately such an unenjoyable experience. So we have the enemy Type 5, and there you go. There's 430. He HEs me, and we get another 400 damage into his vehicle, and there you go. Do you think that Type 5 enjoyed that? Do you think that Type 5 enjoyed losing 1,190 health? A Japanese tier 10 super heavy, I, with standard ammo, butter through without even breaking a single brain cell, and ruin his game. 4005, loads HE because he knows he can't pen me. Now, that doesn't mean our team's good. Our team is absolutely horrible and falling apart like crazy here. They have over-aggressed, and they're getting absolutely nuked, but doesn't really take away the fact that this thing is still a completely unfair, uncounterable tank on a ridgeline. So, oh, we actually bounced the Type 5 once. Okay, we have the concept. Yay. This is a very, very bad team, I will say that. Alright, let's aim it on that 4005. There is 387, and boom, there's another 420. That 4005 has thrown their game away now. We are up to 2,000 damage. But yeah, this is a pretty horrible team, I have to say. This is the definition of a really bad team here. Alright, well, let's see. Let's see what we can do. We got G-Sor in front of us, and let's go for the gun. It's actually very easy to cut through G-Sor, the tank, if you know where to aim. You simply just shoot right at the gun, and 9 out of 10 shots you fire are going to pen, and we can see that. We have cut through that G-Sor twice now. We're up to 2,900 damage, and, you know, our team is actually bringing it back a bit, I have to say. Let's see if G-Sor will poke again. Well, if they do, I can't really do much about it right now. We're just going to chill back here, and let's see. There's the Foch. Is the Type 5 still alive? He is. Okay. Let's just chill over here, and let's see what that Foch's big brain plan is. There you go. There's 405 into the Foch. And there's 424 into the Foch. Not able to hit him again, but that's still 800 hit points we took off of his tank, and he couldn't pen us at all, because again, how do you counter a haul-down Kron? You don't. You don't. We're up to 3,700 damage, and our team sucks. There's no question about that. This team fell apart. They didn't really do anything, but really doesn't change the fact that we are almost uncounterable in this position. We've bled out that Foch now a pretty decent amount of his health. We still have the Type 5. We still have the concept. Let's see. Foch drives to the side. There you go. Another 400 damage off of that player. We're up to 4,400 damage now. We have the concept in front of me, and let's see if we can bleed out this concept. Let's just get hauled down against him. There you go. There's 390. There is 474, and there is 395. We have dealt 5,700 damage. Now, here's my question to you. Here's my honest question to you. If I was in another tier 10, if I wasn't in a Kron, would I have dealt 6,186 damage in this game? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Let's pretend I was in a 5A or a 116F3. Let's pretend I was in an IS4, an IS7, any other tier 10. Would I have dealt 6,200 damage in this battle? No, I wouldn't even have done close to it. I would have probably done maybe 3k on a lucky day. My team would have fallen apart, and I would have died. But this tank has no downside. It gets a 1230 damage clip. It has virtually impossible armor to pen hull down, which nobody even wanted to shoot at me. We literally got HE spam, the Type 5 heavy fired HE, the 4005 fired HE. The fact that this thing hull down is unpennable. The Foch didn't even want to bother shooting at me and just ignored me and left. How is that fair? How is it fair that a tank like this can sit hull down and have virtually no counter and deal 6,000 damage? It's just so stupid. And this is why I get so frustrated when I see double cron platoons, when I see people driving double concept, because there's no skill involved. You're just sitting all down with no counter, no weak point, and you get away with games like this. The fact that this game was even remotely somehow winnable, and the fact that I was able to bring it back as much as I did is insane. But here we are, final game, the Rhino. The Rhino has the lowest DPM out of all the tanks we've talked about here today at 2,335. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the Rhino also features 10 degrees of gun depression. It has crazy mobility and a virtually impossible turret to pen when using that gun depression. A Rhino hull down has no weak point whatsoever, and it gets a 420 alpha double shot, which means it's able to deal 840 damage to your vehicle in 3 seconds with no downside. You can't pen it in return. It's the exact same scenario as the Kron. Why is this tank allowed to get away with that? On World of Tanks PC, the Rhino actually has a fairly weak turret, and even if you're using gun depression, if you have enough pen, you can cut through it. That's how it should be in Blitz, and if Wargaming doesn't want to make it that way, then the gun needs to be nerfed in some other aspect. Maybe it's accuracy, maybe even more DPM. And the funny part is people thought that the Rhino was nerfed and like, ooh, it's not very good anymore. I 3-marked this tank after it got nerfed on my main account, and I averaged 4,000 damage. It made me the #1 Rhino player, period. 4,000 average damage in this tank after the nerfs. It's insane. We were going like 80% win rate because, again, how do you counter something that is more mobile than you, has more gun depression than you, has better capabilities than you? You don't. That's really as simple as it is. You don't counter it. Shoot at the CS. Unfortunately, our shot does not end up penetrating. Our mediums have really put our team in a tough spot here because they did not decide to move up, which is bad because our team needs to move up if they want to actually do something. So we have the CS. Looks like they are running away at this point, so we're going to move over here and... oh, okay. That was just a bad poke for me. I will fully admit that. There is the T-54. We hit him once, and let's see. Ah, I messed that up. This ridge is always a little bit goofy to work, and unfortunately, I didn't work it amazing there. Doesn't really matter, though. We have the M103, and my mill is going to do nothing but yeah, good job. Really? Really, my guy? Thanks. Thanks, Emil. Really appreciated, my guy. Let's just go right in front of me, block me, and make sure that I can't do any... oh my god, move! I hate teammates, guys. I do. I know I'm getting a little frustrated, but like, dude, how hard is it to not block your teammate? There's 364 off the CS. Oh, we get hit by the T-54 camping in the back. We get 413 into him, and we're already up to 1,100 damage. Now we are getting bled out. Our team is really bad once again. Wargaming has decided that I shall be inundated with really bad teams today, but I really don't think it's going to change the fact here that we're still doing totally fine. We've done 1,500 damage. We reload again. Sees the 5 over here. Not that I'm aware of. Let's just reload a little bit longer, and then we'll get our second shell back. 3, 2, 1, and there is the 183. There's 409 into that player, and boom, there's 495, and we back up. Well, that's pretty good. That's 2,400 damage now. And we just chill and cover once again. That player's not really able to make much of a poke. Let's aim it on the E5. Ooh, dang. Tried to snap him. Unfortunately, our shell did not really work with us there. Problem is, our team screwed up that CS. I don't know how they struggled so much to deal with that CS, but they did. And it's really bad because that is a very, very dangerous threat and player. Let's go for a shell into the 183. There's 440 damage. I have a feeling we are going to see the enemy CS. Oh. Well, that's even worse. Our team is doing very, very poorly right now. Let's aim it on the enemy 183. Take him out of the game. Unfortunately, our mill is probably going to die to the CS, which is not very productive. We have the enemy E5 in the open. And, well, let's see. Let's reload. See if the C5 decides to poke. Oh, there you go. Nice. This is still a very winnable game, actually. It's aiming on the flank of that E5. Okay, no. Not able to hit him. I don't think he's poking, then. I'm going to push the enemy CS. This player needs to go. There they are. I don't really care if they shoot me. They can shoot me all they want, because at the end of the day, they're cooked. I have a double shot, 400 alpha gun. Run away all you want, my guy. Run away all you want. That guy gets nuked, and there goes 430 of your health. You miss me, and goodbye. Because I'm a double shot. And you can't counter that. No matter how much you try, you cannot counter my double shot gun. So in this game, we ended up dealing 4,076 damage. We did not break a sweat. I mean, it looked like for a moment there that our team was going to fall apart and we were going to lose, but we didn't. I did 4,234 damage, racked up 3 kills, and didn't struggle at all. All 4 of these games were brain dead. The only game that we lost, I did the most damage at over 6,000. The fact of the matter is, Wargaming needs to seriously nerf these vehicles. I would be more than happy to give Wargaming a bunch of ideas on how they could nerf these tanks and still make them enjoyable and fun to play. But as they currently stand, these vehicles are simply completely unfair. The concept one beyond a ridgeline is unpenetrable. The Kron, now that Wargaming has made it so that tanks have even less pen and enhanced armor has gotten better, this is what it looks like trying to shoot a Kron turret on flat ground with 332 heat. At minimum, you need 380 pen. So if we take some of the highest penning heavies like an E5, this is what it looks like aiming it on a Kron on flat ground. Basically, you can't pen it anywhere. That's the only spot, and even then it's basically a non-pen. Using just like 2 degrees of gun depression, the Kron is now virtually impenetrable. How do you counter this right here, guys? Where's the weak point? You can hide the hatches simply by sticking the gun up. Where's the weak point? You need 396 pen to cut through this, and at minimum you need 380 to cut through everything else. That means even if we get some of the highest pen vehicles in the game, tank destroyers, we get a YAG. This is what a YAG sees against a Kron using gun depression. Where do you pen the tank? All you got to do is this, and basically you don't pen it. How about we get an E3? That's the highest APCR pen. Where do you pen it? You don't. This is not fair. Why does this tank have virtually no weak point and a gun that is able to output 2,733 DPM with a 1,230 damage clip? That's 3,400 effective DPM if you use the clip properly, and then you also dump it when you need to. 3,400 effective DPM with a vehicle that also gets reticle cali, great mobility due to the super speed. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's absolutely ridiculous. What are the other tanks we talked about? The Rhino? Let's show the Rhino armor haul down. Let's show you what it looks like trying to pen a Rhino with gun depression. This is a Rhino on flat ground. The turret is actually penetrable, as we can see, if you have about 326 mils of pen. But the moment that you use your 10 degrees of gun depression, now this is what a Rhino looks like. At weakest, the turret is over 400 mils thick, and even the weak point on the roof, all you got to do is this. Where do you pen it? Where do you pen a haul down Rhino? Once again, we can get some of the highest pen vehicles in the game. A YAG. Yeah, the YAG barely cuts through the Rhino turret. This is the highest pen in the game, and it can barely cut through the turret. How is this fair? How is this fair? How is it fair that this heavy can get hauled down and it can get away with this? It's not fair. This is the problem with Tier 10. It's been a problem for a while. Wargaming allows these OP autoloaders to dominate the matchmaker, and there's virtually no real counter to them. A haul down Rhino, a haul down Kron, a haul down VZ, a haul down Concept has almost no real counter. And when you're going up against these things constantly, if you try driving anything else, it is just the most unenjoyable experience you will ever run into. So that is the simple reason why I have such a hard time enjoying Blitz nowadays. Because what is the point of driving anything, any heavy, when you can just get in a haul down Kron and counter it completely? You can get the most overpowered tanks in the game. G-Sor the tank. This is easily one of the most OP tanks. And against a Kron, this thing looks like child's play. Because there's nothing you can do in this vehicle against a tank that you cannot pen, that will always pen you, has no real weakness. It's a horrible game design idea. Wargaming, you need to nerf these tanks. You need to nerf their DPM, you need to nerf their intraclip, or you need to nerf something along the lines. Because right now, you cannot give them everything, and that's what they have. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.